What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, whatever time it is. I am upstairs today in my living room. My cat is not happy because I am in her spot right now. Yes, because it's freezing in my basement. The heat is not good down there. So I've moved my studio to the upstairs, just for now. I'm just trying to keep warm. Last week when I did my vlog, I was freezing, and like halfway through my vlog, I went and I put on my freaking hoodie. So I really don't want to put a hoodie on in the middle of my vlog this time. So today we're talking about The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, Episode 4, Season 11 of the X-Files. We have a lot of different opinions on this episode, and just like the typical fandom always talks about, you're gonna have a bunch of different opinions when it comes to episodes. I think this was a great episode. As a comedian and as a fan of comedy, I loved it. As a fan of the X-Files, I have conflicting opinions about it, but as a fan of comedy, I very, very much respect it. Was it a little bit too hokey or over the top? Yes. I wasn't originally planning on doing a play-by-play recap of the whole thing, but I feel like there's like so much in this episode that I want to just take a second and look at everything and look at all the different scenes with you guys and see what you think, because I feel like almost each scene, as much as it's funny, there's always some like type of message in each scene. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a look at my laptop and watch some of these, and we'll react to some of these scenes with you. But I wanna go through a few scenes because there are a couple things here and I wanna just show you guys my reactions. My favorite part probably was Minnie Mulder. As creepy and a little bit disturbing it was to see that. I really regretted that it was on my newsfeed on my Twitter timeline before I actually saw the episode, but I specifically told Walt not to look at Twitter because I didn't want him seeing Minnie Mulder until it was on the television because it's such a freaky sight. I decided when the episode was airing to film his reaction. This was his reaction. Anyways, we're gonna take a look at the opening scene. Let's go.
What do these Martians look like?
They have giant heads and multiple appendages.
Yikes.
What is this? Some kind of sick joke, buddy?
Oh, it's no joke. And my name's not Buddy.
Wait, what?
So later on we find out that this is the missing episode, The Lost Martian, Mulder's Mandela Effect.
When he said that episode of The Twilight Zone didn't exist, that's when I knew he was a crazy person. It's a classic.
An episode of a TV show from a series he says was the first time he had seen this episode. Young Minnie Mulder says, now I get it. I still don't get it. And people clue me into what this actually means, other than maybe when you look in the mirror, you might be the one that has all these arms and it's not someone else, it's actually you. I'm not sure. Leave a comment below, let me know, because Glen Morgan puts all these deep, meaningful messages in his comedy, which just makes me feel stupid sometimes, because it's so smart. Nothing is really done without a purpose. And honestly, this whole episode is kind of structured this way. We're constantly questioning what's real and what isn't real. And I think that it has a lot of parallels and commentary on what's happening in the world today. You're dealing with government conspiracies and corruptions and cover-ups.
I was fighting the power and breaking conspiracies before you saw your first chemtrail, you punks. I'm Fox freaking Mulder, you punks!
So you're gonna get satire on current events. Meanwhile, the episode is kind of paralleling what's happening in our world with this alien Trump that comes down with an Elvis cape. So we'll get into all that, but let's move on from the first scene. So I'm gonna go a little bit off topic with the commentary here and how it applies to me, but Mulder actually brings up a point in this episode that he's out squatching.
Hello there.
I was out squatching.
The humor in this part of the episode, the sight gag of Mulder in this ridiculous costume, out squatching, it's hilarious, but I saw it about 2 months ago in a promo, and that promo has since been memed and gifed and become a fandom meme. So as much as I thought this was funny that Mulder was out squatching, it really wasn't funny at this point because I had already heard the joke.
I had to get out to nature, You know, where it's simple and uncomplicated, where it's just you and the elements.
It's kind of ironic because when I go on some of these fan trips, these fan getaways, or whatever you want to call them, fan excursions, I purposely don't watch the news because this is my time to completely forget about everything. Like, a bunch of us fans went up to Vancouver and we saw David's concert and we went around and we visited all these Xfiles sites and there was no news. I didn't follow anything about current events. So when I got back, I said I'm going to stop watching this because it really starts to get to me. So basically I understand where Mulder's coming from in all of this wanting to get away, wanting to go out and just hunt Bigfoot. There is a whole series devoted to finding Bigfoot now. They haven't found Bigfoot, Mulder. Scully says, are we still on for dinner?
What do you mean?
Chicken wow wow. No, seriously, are they dating? Because they were just like screwing. Mulder goes out to the parking lot and meets this dude. Brian Husky plays the character very well. He's eating sunflower seeds, which is a little Easter egg. So we don't know anything about this guy. He pretty much comes off as a madman, but we do know that he mentions the episode The Lost Martian of the Twilight Zone, which sends Mulder rummaging through his VHS collection. I don't want to know what else is in there, but looking for his Twilight Zone episode, which apparently never existed. This is where the Mandela effect comes into effect. You guys, there's this ghouly website, and now I'm like, I'm in the middle of doing this blog review and there's this freaking Ghoulie website, so we're gonna have to do a whole video on Ghoulie. Go look it up. I'll put the link in the description. Let's move on to the next part of the episode. We get to the point where Mulder does the little flashback and then we see the mini Mulder, which is disturbing and funny at the same time. Again, here's Walt's reaction. Ridiculous as it is, it's okay to laugh about this stuff. This is where I think, though, it might be a little bit over the top for some people, or it may have gone, the comedy might be getting a little bit too hokey and silly for some people, so I get that. I also like the opportunity, because I am biased as fuck, to see David being over the top, because David is usually not over the top. He's very much in the pocket, especially with Mulder. Because, I mean, how often do we get to see Mulder being that ridiculous? I like to see all of these guys get a chance to be funny, so I really appreciated the comedy in the episode. Just so you know, guys, I'm watching this episode as a point of reference as we move along. There's a lot of stuff in here, I don't really want to miss anything. Actually, upon watching this scene again, I'm a little bit upset because I see Mulder has spilled all that Jiffy Pop on the ground, and I just want to eat that popcorn right now. Scully is then approached by Reggie something.
He stand you up again?
I can't believe he banged her twice and didn't take her out for dinner. So Scully's going to meet this dude and he gives her this Goopo ABC gelatin with 2 toppings, cherry. Also, in case you guys didn't pick up on something, he keeps calling her Skulls. I think we should keep it. At least Skulls wasn't overhyped. Like, I felt kind of good about that because, hey, Skulls, oh, there's a joke that we haven't heard. The 2 guys are coming for Reggie something and she looks and everybody's gone. Anyway, she ends up with the Goopo and Mulder and Scully go in the office and talk. So Scully relates to this Jello, or Goopo, as her Mandela effect. So let's talk about the Mandela effect for a second. So guys, I actually went through and did a search for Mandela effect and I found this actually is a lot more relatable than Mulder's missing Twilight Zone episode. This relates more to Scully's Mandela effect. The spelling of Oscar Mayer. This is a BuzzFeed article, by the way. Baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Somehow it's still actually Mayer, though many people think it's the real baloney here. This is one that I probably still say it's Sex in the City. We are the champions, the queen, the video's gone. Monopoly Man, rich Uncle Pennybags, has a monocle, but he doesn't. The tip of Pikachu's tail isn't black. The Bernstein Bears are actually called the Berenstain Bears. Curious George never had a tail. Oh my god, what the f***? C-H-I-K? Oh my god. Darth Vader doesn't say, Luke, I am your father? No. Oh shit.
I am your father.
Oh my god.
Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
C-3PO isn't all gold. Well, okay, I could see where that would happen. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's not what it was. He says, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. People think Mona Lisa is smiling now. Kit Kat doesn't have a dash. Remember a Sinbad movie genie from the 90s, but there isn't one, and this is the one that we talked about, Kazam. His mom always said life is like a box of chocolate. Well, it turns out they actually said life was like a box of chocolate. Hannibal Lecter never said hello, Clarice. It was Interview with the Vampire, Fruit Loops is actually spelled Fruit Loops. Crap. Apparently I need to up my meme game because I was completely out of the loop about this. So then this scene where Mulder and Scully meet Reggie something, it becomes a parody of itself because as he's saying it's the Mandela effect, Reggie says it's the Mingle effect. So instead of the Mandela effect, it's the Mingle effect.
Yes, it's the Mingle effect, just say it.
Which is basically parodying the Mandela effect itself, essentially, by saying the Mingle effect when it's actually the Mandela effect.
Wait, what?
Reggie something has a flashback to when he discovered the Mingle effect and he walked into like a collector's shop, and here's your Easter egg, that collector's shop owner is Chuck. Chuck is played by actor Bill Dow, who was a recurring character in several X-Files episodes. And in this episode, if you look on IMDb, The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, his character's name is Pangborn, aka the shop owner. Basically, Reggie's argument to Mulder and Scully that this Mingle effect, aka Mandela effect, whatever universe you're in, is being orchestrated by companies. And if you didn't see it, there's actually a glitch. Everyone thought this was like their TV or their cable skipping, or, you know, when you have Netflix and something like freezes up. But it wasn't. It was done on purpose. So we're gonna take a look at that scene real quick where he starts to say G. And I think we're alluding to Google.
Companies like G spending billions. G spending.
As the script is a lot to take in, and it's very, very wordy, and it's brilliant, but it's confusing at times because there's so much information to take in. Because you know they meant Google. Google, I know you're watching. We also find out that unfortunately the shop owner dies, death by a lawn dart. Mulder suggests that this might be a parallel universe, but both Scully and Reggie are like, no, you're out of your mind. Reggie says they are trying to cover all this up. They is actually a man named They. Who the f is they? Let's go.
While working on NASA's top-secret Operation Soy Bomb, involving future one-way space flights
Operation
beyond our
Soy
realm,
Bomb?
Dr. They devised a technique to change specific memories, which would allow astronauts to complete their mission without being weighed down by thoughts of life back on Earth. However, Dr. They was fired for also making the astronauts think that they were chimpanzees. He himself once starred as an irrepressible genie in a movie called Kablam.
Kablam.
Dr. They has not been heard of for many years, but rumors swirl that he was at the last presidential inauguration.
As we
where,
know.
amongst the hundreds of millions who attended, he was seen occupying the last remaining seat available. And as to his motivations for being there, and what exactly he is up to now,
He's on the
we
top
have
of the
no way of knowing.
monument.
Or perhaps we once did, but have since been made.
I was saying along, I've been watching this again as we go, and it's just a lot of shit to take in. It's almost too much at this point because we have all these claims, and then we have this other flashback to an alien, and then we get this bomb dropped on us that Reggie founded the X-Files because this alien was communicating telepathically. Now the telepathic communications to him were basically, the government came and silenced the alien because the alien came and was like, hey, there's holes in your ozone layer, and blah, blah, blah. But how did Reggie hear the telepathic thing? Did I miss something? But I have to give it to them. What they did in the next scene was brilliant. When they superimposed Reggie into all these classic X-Files scenes that we all know about, that we're all familiar with, some of our favorite X-Files scenes, Reggie is there. This kind of makes me want to go through every X-Files episode and put myself commenting on every scene and everything that happens. Also read an article where Glen Morgan said that he wanted to put Reggie in the dancing scene in Postmodern Prometheus, but he couldn't fit him into the scene, like he couldn't fit in the frame. We have the a cappella version of the X-Files theme song. Here's a little clip of it. It's pretty fucking awesome. And the ultimate parody of itself has to be Reggie busting the door like Mulder did in Small Potatoes and end up shooting the writer of this episode, Darin Morgan, who was playing Andy Van Blunt at the time, pretending to play Mulder, trying to kiss Scully. That's a lot to deal with, but brilliant nonetheless. I think at this point a lot of fans may have wanted to shoot you because this was absolutely crazy, especially with the sugar boobs thing.
Move along, sugar boobs.
I just want to say conceptually this episode is very, very different from the rest of the episodes this season because the episodes previously have been very, very fast paced with a lot of action and a lot of stuff happening. It's quite different because there's so much words and it's a very wordy script. There's a lot of talking and a lot of imagery and a lot of cutaways and things like that. Kind of like a YouTube video.
You're kidding me.
Almost like a Family Guy-ish feel to it. Either way, it's really, really hard to break down and do a play-by-play recap, so I'm not gonna keep recapping I'm not gonna recap the whole episode. I just want to take a second to talk about a couple other things that I enjoyed because there's just so much. So he says these henchmen are coming after him, so these young, nice-looking guys show up, and they basically call Mulder fat and mention Deep State, which is the video game, Xfiles Deep State. But then we get the funny line that we've already seen, "I'm Fox freaking Mulder, you punks." Which kind of bums me out that we saw this in the previews again because we couldn't really enjoy it in the episode because we already heard it. Fox freaking Mulder, you punks line. Fuck this. There's too much stuff that they're releasing ahead of time to promote the episode, about the episode. So I know I said I wasn't gonna do the play-by-play, but we need to take a look at this wall.
There.
Okay, so we have the Ted Cruz JFK, this moron's father. Guys, this is the Reggie Jackson candy wrapper. I remember this, but I didn't remember it until I saw this. Peanut?
Bob
Yeah.
Dylan, whose 98 Grammy
Bob Dylan.
performance is remembered by millions because a half-naked man with the word soy bomb written on his chest jumped on stage and started dancing like a spaz.
This is definitely the Illuminati. You can't really tell without looking at it.
Maybe
What else
it's
do we
just
have over here?
realizing the absurdity of an evil doctor named They.
There's a lot of shit on that wall. Also, in case you didn't notice, Creepy Dream Guy is also on the wall in this scene. By the way, if you've had a dream about Creepy Dream Guy, you're not alone. Other people are starting to have dreams about him, and I think it's only natural considering how much he's being suggested at this point. I want to hear your Creepy Dream Guy theory, so please leave a comment below and let me know if you've dreamt of him or if you haven't dreamt of him. He is going to be in every episode, I think. They calls Mulder to meet him in a location, and where Mulder meets him is actually at the Laughing Statues. Seeing the Laughing Statues with They gave me kind of a revelation. Some statements to Mulder that actually ring so very true and hit home. Not just on a political level, on a current events level, but on a personal level.
Disclosure. You're right, I can't control people's minds. Although it turns out you don't really have to. All you need is some people to think it's possible. And then you've sown the seeds of uncertainty. All you really need is a laptop.
What They is saying is you can plant the seed of information, whether it be true or untrue, and just the slightest seed of doubt is enough for a whole bunch of people to believe one narrative about a person or an individual or a situation. And I'm not talking about any specific situation, but I'm talking about multiple situations and how one person's speculation based on ignorant hunch or idea, conclusions, whether it be true or not, being presented as a fact.
All you really need is a laptop.
Mulder's now irrelevant because conspiracy theories and his day is done. They goes away, he quotes Trump, he walks off and says, "How do they know? How do you know?" That's the most profound thing Trump has ever said. Probably. And he said, what does it have to do with? Who cares? You're right, exactly. Who cares? Because people are going to believe what they're going to want to believe. So after his meeting with They, Mulder then once again encounters Reggie in the parking lot. And he wants to know who he is, and Scully pops out with all the facts. His name is Reginald Murgatroyd, and it turns out, as we see several cutaways, that he actually went to school and then enlisted in the army and then worked for different factions of the government and does several cutaways that are really wrong, that have to do with bad things that basically our government has done. Then we hear the siren again, and basically Ecto-1 pulls up to take Reginald away. Spotnitz Sanatorium, which is a shout out to Frank Spotnitz, the really awesome writer from the show. But before he goes, Mulder asks what their last case was and what happened. So then we get this ridiculous imagery of an alien coming down and basically Trump in a cape, an Elvis cape. The sight of this is absolutely ridiculous and the comic timing of it all is ridiculous, but the message underneath it all is not ridiculous. The message underneath it all is scary as shit. But I think the best part is just when they go to take this guy away and they think he's absolutely crazy. Skinner comes out Where are they taking Reggie? We also learn that Mulder's missing episode of The Twilight Zone was not a Twilight Zone. It was actually a knockoff called The Dusky Realm. The shippy moment at the end with Scully and the gelatin and the leprechaun taint, I thought all that was really sweet, and we definitely missed an opportunity to have a little kiss. Last week they had the camera pan to the side. This week they're like, we're gonna pan up. I want to remember. And like Mulder was looking at her like he wanted to kiss her, but we can't show you that because you cannot have nice things. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you thought of the episode. Please let me know what you think. This has been a challenging vlog video review to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked it, subscribe, leave a comment below, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a thumbs down, tell me you hated it. I want to hear your feedback, negative, positive, anything in between. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, my diss track about the Phantom Police is coming, and I promise it'll be released in the next couple of days. Since I've reached 1,000 subscribers, I have to do what I promised I'd deliver. So I will deliver my diss track. So look for that. Until next time, bye.